Today, I'm going to share with you the top 5 mistakes that agents like you mistake when hiring someone into their organization. So what are the top 5 mistakes and why do we even need to understand these? Well, think about this. You got into real estate for 2 things. Number 1, reason you got into real estate was because you wanted to increase your financial world. And the second thing is you wanted to increase your lifestyle. And there was this belief that by increasing your income and your lifestyle, you'd be able to have even more freedom. If I'm right, let me know. So here's what I discovered. In 2014, I made this huge, big, audacious goal at the time was to go to the World Cup in Brazil. And I went there and I conquered it. And it was amazing. I was closing deals while I was gone. But when I came home, the money started to shut off. Why? Because I spent almost a month in Brazil with no input into my business. And what I realized at that time is I was a business operator, not a business owner. And I want to get really clear on what the difference between those two is. Business operator means if you take time off, your business stops making money. A business owner is when you take time off, your business still keeps generating even more money. So here's an example. If you took 30 days off, you went to Brazil for a month, would your business keep generating money or would it stop? And that will help you determine where you are. You're probably a business operator. In fact, most people are, and that's why in the WGR Academy, one of the things that I do is I help real estate agents go from about $250,000 a year to $1 million a year, but step out of the sales production, where they can go from business operator to business owner. And so when I realized that in 2014, I had made a decision that I wanted to create real financial freedom. Like I'd done it with investments, but I hadn't done it with my business asset. And through that, I made a bunch of mistakes. And I'm going to identify for you and outline the top 5 mistakes that agents and business people make today in hiring. Mistake number 1 is there's just no clear culture game. There are no rules on what your culture stands for. There's no towards values that you're working towards, and there's no away value. So let me give you a simple example. During this part is your whole objective is to identify what is an A team player or a C team player. An A team player is coachable. They show up. They ask for feedback. They say, what else can I do? How else can I contribute? They are really great at engaging and at participating. A C team player, they have excuses. They're entitled. They lack honesty. They're dishonest and lack authenticity. They have this drama about them, this baggage that they seem to carry along with them, right? And so what the rules are and the toward values and the way values, this just sets the standard. Write that down. Sets the standard for what an A team player is and what a C team player is. Now, if you're like me, sometimes you're going to drop into that C team player mode. You become a little bitch. Now, here's the rule around it. It's if you consistently and inappropriately stay as a C team player. Now, the objective is for me as the team leader is to constantly be evangelizing the culture of the company. And eventually, that's what the whole role of a CEO is. I see so many people on Facebook or Instagram put that their title is CEO, but do you really know what CEO is? Their whole purpose is to evangelize the culture of the company. And if you don't know what the culture game is and what your top 3 culture rules are and what you're driving towards and away from, you're never going to be able to hold this standard of 18 players. So let me give you an example. Our number 1 toward value is positive mental attitude. So anytime I'm with a client or I'm in a team huddle or I'm at a client appreciation event or I'm at a training event or I'm working with a customer, and these are just a couple of the labels around the rule, but it's about positive mental attitude. Number 2 is make shit happen. Have a sense of urgency. So anytime I have something urgent to get done, or anytime I have something important to get done, or anytime I have to execute on my role inside of the company, here's just a few examples. And what happens is you'd have 5 toward values and 5 away values. Let me put that on. 5 toward values and 5 away values and 3 rules, 3 major rules that govern your culture game. And then you have to have a level of accountability to evangelize this over and over again. Because if I tell you one time, like you're going to listen in this video, and you might hear it, but it's not going to stick with you. I have to train you on this, teach you this 7 times before you get it once. So with the number 1 toward value of positive mental attitude, my team has to hear it 7 times before they hear me 1 time. And I've got to share it with them 49 times before it becomes a behavior. So very, very clear, before you start hiring, see there's 5 levels of a real estate agent. And the third level is all about leverage. This is where you create technology asset and human asset. And that's where most agents are if they ever hit a peak in career. They never go to leadership and actually build an organization that they can lead and actually just evangelize this culture to, because they don't have this in place. They don't have the toward values. So my job is to evangelize these rules over and over again to my people. That's how you avoid this mistake. Before you hire, get your clear rules, towards, and away values. Mistake number 2 is just no clear job description. There's 2 great books I want you to write down that I really recommend. One is called Who Not How, and the other one is called Who. I love both these books, but I really love the book Who by Jeff Smart because it teaches you how to write a clear job description. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been in your business and realized that there's more work to get done than you're able to do, and you find yourself doing like $15, $20 an hour jobs? Like I found myself till just recently when I made a new hire with our director of experience doing a $50 and a $75 hour job. And I'm used to driving $5,000 plus in an hour for our organization. So I would drop my standards certain times. You do the same thing. This happens all the time as business owners because this is what keeps you as a business operator. So a clear job description must have the mission of what that person you're hiring is doing. The second thing is 3 to 5 major outcomes. Like when I bring you into the organization, what are the top 3 to 5 outcomes that you're going to create over the next 90 days and 180 days and 12 months? We want a 3-month, a 6-month, and a 12-month to measure that they have a target to go towards. We also need a very simple system in place. Like here's an example, because you're in real estate, and any business needs this system, but it's a sales system. There's 7 forces of business, and one of these forces is a clear sales system. And a very simple sales system is a 4-step sales process. Number 1, contacts. Number 2, meaningful conversations. Number 3, set up appointments face-to-face. And then number 4, give presentations to monetize the conversation. This simple system for each one of the jobs that you hire into has to be clearly laid out in the job description. And then the last thing is, what are the responsibilities? What are the top 15 to 20 actionable items that this person is going to agree to every single day in their business? Like that's why you hired them, to take over these actionable items. And then the last thing, which I didn't have noted on here, but for you to pay attention to, is compensation. Are you compensating your people appropriately? Because most business operators, what happens is they have this scarcity mindset. I had it very first too when I started expanding my business, and I wanted to find out how to pay people as little as possible. But what happens is when you pay people as little as possible, you get C-team people. You get people that are willing to work for that level. Whereas today, I look to push myself on, can I pay them top dollar? Because if I pay them top dollar, they're going to perform at a higher level, and I'm going to attract a better person. Now, I can't pay a C-team player an A-team salary, but I sure as hell can pay an A-team player an A-team salary. And that's what the important distinction is. Mistake number 3 that everyone makes when hiring, inside of their business is a lack of upfront agreements. And this stems from your job description. I have, as a company, a promise that I'm going to deliver on when I hire someone into my organization. And I can promise you this, I always freaking deliver, because I'm clear ahead of time on what I will deliver. But then the talented individual, the A-team player that you're hiring in your organization, they have to have a promise as well. I'll give you an example. I hired in my academy last year, and the kid sold me that he was going to be amazing at our 4-step sales system in selling academy members. And yet he didn't do one really important role in the sales system, which was have meaningful conversations. See, we have a standard on our sales organization, whether it's in our real estate division or academy, a minimum of 20 meaningful conversations a day. And I really actually would encourage 30 plus meaningful conversations a day, because meaningful conversations is what puts you in front of opportunity. But the problem is this talent made a promise to me and he didn't keep it. So it becomes easy to let this person go from my organization very quickly. So the upfront agreements is these responsibilities that we talked about on the job description. And write this down. I'm going to make a note here. They must be measured. If you are not measuring these agreements, tracking them, then there's no accountability to it, which leads to the third piece of this on the upfront agreements is there's a lack of accountability system. See, most people think that accountability is the leader or the coach or the trainer or the director holding people's feet to the fire. That's just not true. Accountability is where we create a safe, vulnerable space for you to correct and continue, that when you fall into that C-team level, you have an opportunity to step back up into the A-team realm. And the longer that you dwell as a C team, like, oh, I goofed up, I made a mistake, and then you stay in these negative emotional states, the longer that you will take to start making money in your business. So what I do is I hire people, and I appreciate that they're going to make mistakes. What I cannot tolerate as the leader and the owner of my company is people that just stay in that negative C team space. It's consistent and inappropriate. But what I expect and what I agree to them in part of the accountability system is that they actually step up back to the A team player that they know they are. See, everyone's going to fall. You're going to fall into the C team role. That's okay. But it's if you stay there that's the problem. And that's what causes people to fail in business and in sales, is because they stay in the C team role and they're wondering why their income's not going up. They're wondering why they have fear or anxiety or overwhelmment or impatience or irritation. It's because of their standards. You want a new result in your life, set a new standard. Fourth mistake that I see everyone making when hiring in their business is they just have no clear leadership system. See, they think that the hiring is just when they bring someone on and that they're going to set it and forget it and this person's going to deliver. And that's not the case. So remember what I said earlier in this training is that I've got to teach my team 7 times before they hear me once on our culture and our values. It's the same thing with everything that I train them. My job as the CEO of the company, the president of the company, the director of the company, whatever you want to call it, is to evangelize the standards of our company. And how you do that through number 1 is there has to be a training system. So the leadership system that fails is there's just no training system in place. And that's usually because at the leverage level, where the money is all tied to your production, like if you stop working, the money stops coming in, is then you get fear. So instead of giving your team this attention, you end up giving attention to the things that you know are going to keep the business surviving. And it's a difficult stage to be at, and I can help you move through this to go from leverage to leadership to ownership. Literally, just like Kayla Lindsay, some of you guys know who she is. Check her out, amazing. When she first started working with us, $130,000 this last year, roughly $800,000. James Mishner, $80,000 to $1.3 million. Another example, Robert Colton's out of Seattle went from just under $100,000 to $275,000 in 24 months. Another example is Richard Pollard. When he started with us, $60,000 a year, 12 months later, $120,000 a year, doubled his business. And these are all different examples, but it stems from, can there be a leadership system in place? And you need to either go create one and you learn how to do it through a mentorship program, or you need to hire someone to create this leadership program for you. But either way, you have to have it. And part of this consists of daily team huddles. Every single day for a half hour, my team gets together on Zoom. We focused on 90-day previous day victories, 90-day targets, and what's the massive action today that drives to their outcome. There must be consistent one-on-one coaching. Now, this is where you cheat your team. You're so busy making money to keep the business going as the business operator, you don't have the time to do these one-on-one calls. So there's a sticking point where you have to begin to trust that by doing this, it creates the leadership system that allows new revenue to come in from leveraged resources. And then finally, the other mistake that I'm seeing people make in their leadership system, it's super simple, is there's just no clear roadmap or vision. Like you might have the vision up here, you might have a roadmap up here, but it's not documented in a form that you can communicate it to the people that you're leading inside your organization. So one of the things that I do is every other month, I lead a company town hall meeting, so to speak, where I'm constantly painting the vision and I'm getting feedback from our team organization, our leadership and our core team and our divisions, so that I know how to make adjustments and make the vision even bigger and better for them, plus answer questions for them. So that's the fourth mistake, is no leadership system in place. And then the fifth mistake is there's just no talent pool or a process. So think about this, if I'm going to hire someone in the individual, where the hell are they going to come from? So I have to have that job description like listed in number 2 of who it is I'm looking for to fill this role. And then what happens is I'm constantly saying, hey, here's who I need in my company right now. Here's who I need in my organization. But in order to do that, I need a candidate lead flow. I need some choices. And because there's no talent pool, what happens is there's no interview process to even select, and then we end up settling with a limited option. And so most people, they start by hiring someone because they attract someone to them, but then they don't have this clear leadership system, they don't have the cultures and rules, they don't have a job description, they don't have this level of leadership in place, and because of that, the people come in and they fail. And when they come in and fail, they blame who? They blame you. And then what happens is when you fail, and this fails, money goes down, you get into a tight spot, you get overwhelmed, you get anxious, you get afraid, and then what do? you start to have a little bit of a freak out. I watch this all the time, and then a new belief sets in that I don't want to build an organization or a team or create that because I don't want to what? I don't want to be a babysitter. Of course, no one wants to be a babysitter except for a nursery. But we're not building a nursery. You don't have to be a babysitter. You have to be a leader. In order to be a leader, you have to have a leadership system. And so we have to create this lead flow. And here's a tip. 80% of your lead flow and the best hires, the best 18 players, they will come from a referral source. Your sphere of influence, your past clients, your network of agents that you work with. You should constantly be having these meaningful conversations to drive these lead flows of opportunities for you. And then you have a clear interview process. That interview process must help you understand, is this person an A-team player or a C-team player? That's the whole purpose of the interview process. So you have limited candidates, number one. Number two is the interview process is you don't even know what you're going through to identify if they're an 18 player. So you end up settling with someone because you think it's the right decision. And then what happens is you waste time, effort, energy, and money, and you create a new belief that it doesn't work, which that system doesn't work. So I totally get it. So I just want to help you understand how does the WGR monetize talent. There's three ways that we, in my company, monetize talent. Number one is we hire them. I am constantly looking for 18 people. My job still to this day is I have 30 meaningful conversations. By 9 o'clock today, I had already dropped 25 voice notes, had 8 people reply, and set up 3 new face-to-face meetings in order to monetize. That's my whole job. I get face-to-face. How do I monetize this relationship? 1, I hire them. 2, I mentor or I train them. Or 3 is I partner with them in some way. I find out how can we partner with their skill set and my skill set and go make money. That is my job all day, every day. So part of what we want to look at, and I want you to eradicate from your vocabulary, is passive income, because it doesn't exist. Every type of income requires attention. But what we want to look at is leveraged residual income, because that will require less attention from you and more attention from an 18 player that you hired to handle that part of your business. Okay? The other way the WGR monetizes these vehicles. So like if these are our options, hire them, mentor them, train them, partner with them, we have to have a monetization vehicle, okay, to create a real business. First is the real estate division. We actually still sell homes. And one of the ways that I leverage through this is we have about 8 people on our sales team, plus we have our sales director, and he reports directly to me. His name is Gerald. Check him out. He's an amazing individual, really incredible with what he's doing in our real estate division. And he leads those 8 individuals to go sell real estate. He holds them accountable with the team huddle, with the sales training, with the one-on-one coaching, and that leadership system. And that's how you really become a business owner, is by not only having a leadership system, but hiring not only 18 players, but 18 leaders to help you take over these parts. The second piece that we monetize in our business in the vehicles was through our academy. And this is so important to understand because there's 2 questions I want you to ask yourself. 1 is, what business are you in? And 2 is, what business are you getting into? By the year 2025, it's predicted that the infopreneurship space or information space, that industry will be a $1 billion a day industry. So if it's a $1 billion a day industry, why aren't you making money on it, especially being in the real estate space? So it's sometimes, some way, I would make this part of what your business roadmap is and your monetization model. So with our academy, we have stages where people can mentor with us for as little as $500. They can attend one of our events in the WGR Live for $300, or we have as high as $30,000 coaching packages for someone to work with us in our coaching program. We have a fit for so many different levels because we've got the 5 levels of a real estate agent and a business owner broken down. Everyone starts at one of these levels, usually level 1, which is they need to get appointments. Level 2, which is they need to build a network. Level 3 is they need to build leverage. Level 4 is they need to develop leadership. And level 5 is where they can be an owner and step out of that production and make 7 figures. Okay? And then the final way that we monetize is through real brokerage. So that's the company that my real estate sales team partners with, and I get rewarded for working with business builders that helped attract agents to our company. For example, about 600 agents have partnered with me inside of real brokerage, and now I get paid off of about 600 plus transactions every single year. So those are the ways that we monetize in our organization and become real business owners versus business operators. If you want to learn more about this, there's a couple of ways you can do it. Number one is I'll drop a link somewhere. You can DM someone on my team, send us a message, and schedule a free business strategy session. You're going to get on a call with one of our business advisors, and through that conversation, identify where you are in the roadmap and also where you want to go, and then we'll look at some options that fit for you and how we can help you get there even quicker. The other way that you can get involved in more proximity to learn more about this is coming up is my next webinar. So if you want to be on my next training webinar where I go in deep with this, let me know. I'm on there live coaching and training on this webinar, so you've got some time with me there. And I will teach you more on these steps. And then the other way is once a month I do a 3-day business challenge. So if you want to get involved in that challenge, there's a link somewhere, or you can just send me a message, say, hey, I want to be on your next business challenge. And that way you can learn more and create this. Because one of the things I want you to write down real quick is proximity is power, okay? And what I have found is I have the skill set to be able to help you grow and scale your business. People ask me all the time, how do I grow and scale my business the way you've done? Well, I just told you. Number one is you can come work for me in my real estate division. 2 is you can join my academy and I'll mentor you and I'll coach you. Or 3 is you can partner with me and you can help monetize with what it is that you're doing and I'm doing. So these are the ways that you can look at that. Get on our next training. And if you get on a business strategy session, here's what it is not. It's not a giant sales pitch. My goal for my team is to say, hey, our goal is not to sell everyone into our programs because not everyone's a fit. Our goal is to identify A-team players and find out how can we help them grow. And when they grow, our company grows. We make more money because our business is focused on 2 basic underlying human needs. Number 1 is growth. We want to freaking grow. We are going to a $10 million a year company right now, and I'm excited about that. And we need 18 people and 18 leaders to help make that possible. But the other way that we really take a look at this in this conversation, besides 18 players, is we find out, okay, what are the steps in order to make this happen? How can we actually do this? And so that is called contribution. So number 1 is growth and number 2 is contribution. So go ahead, make sure you either join my next webinar, my next 3-day challenge, or just get a business strategy session started so we can figure out how to help you go to the next level in your real estate business and really go from an operator to an owner. All right, we'll see you later.